Hello, I'm Anya. I'm exploring happiness. Welcome back to my Pillars of Happiness series about my framework. And this video is about pillar number 5, connections. There we go. Everybody seems to always think that humans are selfish and nobody cares for each other. But that's not true. We are wired to support each other, and science absolutely backs us up. There are several studies about how people giving away money, even if it's anonymously, are always happier than the ones, I think always, usually, mostly happier. I can't remember, I should really review those studies, than those who keep the money. And the long-term Harvard study about happiness and health, I think it's about happiness, and they also have one about health, but the strongest predictor for long-term happiness and good health is, I need to rearrange my camera, is good relationships. I found that in my own life as well, that when I started to really invest in relationships and connections, my happiness started to turn around. Also, my health started to turn around. So connections is a powerful ingredient, possibly the secret source of happiness. What do I mean with connections, though? So connection is like focusing your energy onto something. That can be brief, that can be long, but it means that. And you can do that with really anything. You can do that with yourself. You can do that with people, obviously, with animals, hence the rising number of pet owners, with objects, which I talked about in physical belongings decluttering section in the resources pillar. Beliefs, ideas, the universe, nature, anything. All it means is that you focus attention, focus energy onto that. And of course, that can be daunting. That can be risky because you need to let down your guard at least for a bit and focus your attention on, or you focus on energy on something where you can't focus the energy on anything else. You might not get anything back. So when you now I lost my train of thoughts. Whatever you do, before we move on, whatever you do though, is connect with yourself first. It's really hard to connect with anything if you don't do that. I've, like, in my teens and 20s, maybe even in my 30s, I don't know, I had relationships. I had romantic relationships. I had friendships, my family and everything, but I never really felt connected. I was really lonely because I didn't connect with myself. I really hated myself. I didn't want to connect with myself. So it's really important that you connect with yourself first, and that's why this is pillar number 5 and not number 1, because pillars number 2, 3, and 4 are really focused on connecting with yourself first. Okay, let's have a closer look at the chemistry behind all this. There's 2 hormones working in favor of connections. Favor, we will see. There's oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and serotonin. So oxytocin is the bonding hormone, and it lowers stress and anxiety. It's triggered in connection. The strongest it is when around reproduction, sex, childbirth, and breastfeeding. But you can also get it through hugging and cuddling, any physical contact, but also just eye contact or a thoughtful text message. It's absolutely, I mean, I'm pretty sure the oxytocin increase is much higher when you have a hug than you receive a text. But checking in with somebody also triggers oxytocin. Okay, so let me just have a quick look at the notes. So the idea is that humans have survived so long, I mean, several hundred thousands of years, because we do cooperate. We stick together. And even in conflict, conflicts are usually in service of a group. If you think about it, it's to defend a nation, to defend a race, to defend your family, to defend beliefs. Oxytocin is the glue holding us together. When connection is missing, so when the oxytocin drops, we feel cortisol, or the cortisol rises. The hormone, stress hormone cortisol rises, and that's actually causing pain. So when you, let's say, hit your knee or have physical pain, there's an emotional component, and in the brain, like this section, I'm just going for it, like dorsal anterior cortex, I'm pretty sure that was that one, it lights up. No matter if you have heartbreak, so only emotional pain, or if you hit your knee or whatever, have physical pain. This explains why loneliness is actually painful. And it also explains why when your heart is broken, it's very hard to study, focus, think, do anything. Because you're in a constant fight or flight response there. So our brains are still wired for Stone Age, and alone in the wild, loneliness meant danger. Together meant safety. So that's what why we crave so deeply belonging, and why we always want to help and want to be together. Obviously, you can't be together with everybody, but that's what I'm coming to next. Serotonin is the other hormone, the confidence hormone. Loretta Graziano-Bräuning calls it a status hormone. So humans obviously want to be together, so they live in groups, or they always have lived in groups, and these groups have some kind of hierarchy. So who goes into the middle when the saber-toothed tigers attack, or who is at the water hole first, or who stands out for mating purposes. So when we meet somebody, there's always a one, like at least for the first time, and then also after we haven't met for some time, and just realize that you're doing that too. Everybody does it. We check each other out. There's a one-to-one comparison. So there's always kind of a competition, right? Because we have to establish that hierarchy. But the thing is, we usually don't go into a dogfight and somebody's in the upper position, somebody's in a lower position. There's no judge saying like, you win. The winner gets the serotonin. The one who doesn't win is in the upper position, gets the cortisol, so that the hierarchy can be established that way. But because we don't go into that clear situation, it's just pure subjectivity and perception, who wins and who loses. And when you check each other, just have that in mind. When you check each other out and you go like, oh, they're so much better dressed, or so much more beautiful, or so much cleverer than I am, the other person might think that too, and you both end up with no serotonin. So serotonin is confidence. So that's like this calmness where you go like, it's okay, I can deal with these things. If you don't have it, it's depression and anxiety. So it's really good to have, right? And because you don't know if the other person also goes like, oh, so much better than me, oh, I'm so much worse, and dips in their serotonin, well, you can actually go for the serotonin. Because if the other person also thinks they are better and gets serotonin, well, it's a win-win, right? So the other person might be, let's say, prettier. Who cares? Because you are something else. I've actually been proud of my bad handwriting. I mean, whatever, just own it. Because anything can be good. There's no rule that everybody needs to be pretty. I mean, partners are picked because they're funnier, or because they're calmer, or because they have a certain interest, or they actually are not that pretty, or they are, I don't know, good in cooking, or good in sailing. I don't know. because you just feel good. And then also, it's not all about partners, even though mating opportunities is our strong instinct. Even though, I mean, I don't want more children, so it really doesn't matter. But of course, the instinct is always this: increase your mating opportunities. Just make it make it work for you. Make this game a win-win. Play your own rules and make whatever you somehow feel you're good in or you're bad in. I mean, people really win that competition by just being very sick or sicker than the other person. Don't do that. Just find something you're good in. I'm very good in being Anja Wendt. I mean, really, nobody else can be as good. Go with that. It actually works. So now I have a look at my notes. Types of connection. So I categorized connections into two types. There's love connections and there's community connections. That covers everybody who's somehow in our lives. There's a lot more people out there, but these are all the people who are somehow in our lives, even if it's just a few seconds. So love connections are family and friends. There we go. Family are the love connections we are given. So we can't get rid of them, even if we try. We can distance ourselves, we can never speak to them, but we can't get rid of them. So it's worth nurturing them. I know they carry so much duty and responsibility and guilt and shame, blame, and so on. But like I say, we can't get rid of them, so maybe we can make the best out of them. You have to make that work for yourself, because I know that sometimes it's super toxic and there's so much pain in there. But however you can make it work, try to make the best out of it, because they will always be there. Friends, on the other hand, are the people we choose. So that's the love connections we want to have in our life. The philosopher Thomas Aquinas had a look at friendships and found three categories. But the ones which increase happiness are the ones he calls useless. So that means there's no gain in that friendship. They usually people you have a shared interest with, and you share that and you become friends over that. So we should have a lot of useless friends. Romantic partners usually sit there until you become, when you have kids with them, they move into the family one. So even if you divorce, you can never get rid of them, and you probably should make the best out of it, whatever that is. So Barbara Fredrickson, the positive psychologist, has looked at love and defined it as shared positive emotions. So that means it's a connection where you share joy, interest, calm, gratitude, whatever. And that is love. So that moment is love. Now, we do a lot of other things, but fighting, gossiping, nagging won't strengthen your love. It's absolutely okay to even share fear or anger or something like that, and you have to fight things out. But be aware that love is when you share positive moment. So love connections are the people where we try to have time to, do all these things, right? And then create as many positive emotions as possible. Also, connection means you do it intentionally, mindfully, not half in your phone answering an email. I'm just saying it. And then listen, actively listen to each other as much as you can. I mean, it's not always possible, right? It's just the more you do it, the stronger that love connection will become. And the more of these love moments you create, the stronger the love connection will become, even if you have the other moments. It's kind of outweighing, like you will try to outweigh the negative moments with positive moments. I mean, that's really when you think about staying together or keep investing into a friendship or a relationship, is really when you feel like there's no good in it, right? There's no positive moments. So make them or don't, but decide on it intentionally. Okay, so then community connections is everybody else. So that can be neighbors and parent community, fellow gym members, fellow dog park goers, work colleagues. I have a lot of like shop attendant, barista connections of my community, but that's the people who are not in your love connection, which means you can absolutely have like great things going on there. Like I share a lot of positive moments, and I think I would say like love moments if you want with them, but it's not where I will invest when I don't have any. Like when I have little time, it's not the people I invest in. That will be the people in my love category, my family and my friends. And this is I feel this is quite important because that means we have this community going where when we have energy and we feel friendly towards the world or whatever, we feel in connecting mode, and our friends and family are just not there in that moment. You're going grocery shopping and just saying hi to the shopkeeper you see every day, or have a quick chat about the weather or something. It can give you a really good feeling because that triggers oxytocin. But when it comes to family and friends, and deciding between family and friends and giving them attention and giving random members of a community attention, you will focus on family and friends. That makes it often superficial. So that makes it often that community connections feel superficial, but it's just the way it is, right? You have to make a decision. And I feel nobody expects me to be super deep with everybody all the time. Sometimes it's really enough to just greet each other. I mean, I have in my grocery store, there's people I think I've known for 10 years, and I know one of them has a child, and I keep forgetting the gender, but we just always greet and say like, how are the children? And that's all we do. And I think it makes us happy in that moment. And that gives us a feeling of trust and belonging. But like we would never really go deeper into anything. And it's okay, right? Of course, some of the community members might change into the love category, and maybe sometimes the love connections change back into the community. I mean, there's no real clear lines, but I think it's quite important to make a connection, make a bit of a decision for yourself where you intentionally create love moments, and who you focus on who you can let go if they move out of your community, leave a job, or leave a job as a work colleague, or leave a job as a grocery shop attendant, or as a neighbor, and where you will follow up and where you will not follow up, but invest instead into people you have already decided who are important. Okay. There's another thing. A lot of people struggle with that because small talk and, feeling clumsy and, I don't know, not feeling like they can connect easily. And I've been there. I'm North German. I'm often perceived as rude or dismissive. But I found when I just go out with a friendly attitude, like I really generally don't expect people to be bad. I did before, but I generally don't actually expect anything. And if I don't answer, I'm like, phew, not my love connection, right? So since I've been doing that, it's like it's come back exactly like that. People are friendly to me, and maybe I'm rude. Maybe sometimes I'm even offensive without, wanting to be. But that people pick up the vibe more than what you actually say or how you are. So if you're like in a good mindset about that, you will get these connections, and they are really good to give you oxytocin. Connections. So there's a few challenges in connections. I found envy, imposter syndrome, people pleasing, which can be also lead into exploitation, being exploited, and also loneliness. And I feel these are big categories. There's probably more, but these are big categories we should speak about. So envy, and a lot of times people say jealousy, but jealousy is being afraid of losing something, whereas envy is not being happy for somebody having something or having achieved something. So when you feel that sting, there's a few things. So like I like to actually take it as an inspiration, because I'm like, oh, that seems to be a desire of mine. I didn't even know that. So I'm like, oh, taking a note, like, oh, I seem to want that too. Okay. It's worth looking into what the other people had to do to get there, because often we think like they don't deserve it, but they actually put quite a lot in, but in other ways than you can see. Take that into account when you feel that people don't deserve. But also take a note. Okay, so this is obviously something I want. Then think about it. Think like, do I really want that? Do I want to invest into that? And then yes, and then do it. Because obviously the other person achieved it, so you can do, right? Lean into it. There's abundance. Obviously it's possible. Also lean into it and share the joy. Be happy for them. Because if you're happy for them, first of all, they feel better, or there's better mood. But most of all, you feel better. And it relaxes you and gets you into that rest and digest state where you see opportunity. Maybe you can actually ask them tips how to get there, whatever they have, right? So being happy and sharing joy and reminding yourself of doing that, that's totally okay to get the sting and then going like, well, but I'm happy for that. And then feel that. Because it will get you into that abundance mindset where you can either achieve that or achieve whatever you wanted and see like, oh, maybe I don't want that. Good wisdom, right? Imposter syndrome is when you don't feel good enough. And I fear that's a serotonin problem. So first of all, if you don't feel good enough, let's say in a job or something, or in doing something, do it, because through doing it, you will be able to create confidence. But also what I found is, like when I was a PhD student, I thought everybody else was so much more collected and clever and sophisticated and whatever. And I spoke to other members of a PhD community and found like they also think that everybody else is so much more collected, sophisticated, and better organized and whatever. So you can connect over that with others and get your serotonin up, get confidence up, see what you have already done. Well, you obviously have become member of a group, or be in a position that you could be a member of that group, or you're in a position to do that, what you want to do, and then just do it. There's uncomfortable feeling, but go over that. And once you have like taken a few steps, go like, well, I'm great because I've done these steps. I might not be, super professional already, and it's not great what I'm doing, but I'm great by doing, just taking the steps. Whatever gets you your serotonin up. People pleasing and being exploited. I feel that's also a serotonin problem. Of feeling not worthy enough and then doing, like just giving and never really getting back. That, of course, can have two sides. Like, first of all, you might not be able to receive because you don't feel good enough. But it could be also that you're surrounded by people or in a relationship where the other person just takes. And you don't feel... You don't want that oxytocin drop, so you keep being in a relationship just because you're afraid of being, let's say, lonely. Well, we've learned that you can connect with anything, so even connecting with yourself can give you oxytocin, and then you're obviously giving, so you're good in something, because otherwise you wouldn't give it, right? Get your serotonin up through that. whatever works for you, just see what you have and what you can get and connect. You can also connect spiritually, because that also can give you oxytocin. Just try to get into the situation where you can create positive moments together, because that's just getting all the hormones up into happiness level. Finally, loneliness. In this digital world where we can order anything and we pretty much can stay home and don't see anybody, it's obviously easy to not go out and face our fears and, when we feel we are clumsy or not good enough and all these things, which are very human. But loneliness is actually an epidemic, and it's killing because it's a constant fight or flight thing. I mean, it could be that you just, be very happy in your apartment or wherever you are and in your loneliness. Well, then it's not loneliness. Then it's just enjoying being alone. But if if you're true to yourself, is it causing you stress? Are you really happy with being alone all the time? I'm guessing no, because we are wired to be together. But, there's people living alone in the forest, and they survive. So there we go. For happiness, it's very likely that you should go out and meet people and tap into that oxytocin you can get from that. How do you do that when you've been lonely for a while? Because it's harder and harder to connect. Well, just try to put on a mindset of friendliness, like the world is good. Go out, smile, and see what happens. And just try to connect without wanting anything than oxytocin. A lot of times we feel like we have to get something back, but getting something back might just be oxytocin. So if you have a quick chat with somebody and you somehow feel better afterwards, even though you just chatted about the weather, take that, because that's what you got back from your connection. Also connect with yourself. Stare into a mirror, into your eyes, because eye contact also gives you oxytocin. I know, these were really clever tips. So please go out and tap into this secret source of happiness, connections, and make that work for yourself. I'm going to talk about letting go in the next pillar. Have a happy day and a happy week.